Alright all, like the title suggests, in today's video we got an unboxing overview. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Aigo Shadow Max CPU cooler. This is a 5-pipe tire style cooler for your CPU. This one comes with a little bit of a twist. Instead of looking like a regular tire style cooler, this actually round. It's kind of cool looking. Kind of brought my attention to it, so I figured I'd buy one and see what it's about. Alright guys, let me flip you over here to Newegg and we'll run down through the specs of it, and we'll actually take a little bit of a look at this thing before we take it out of the box. Alright guys, here we go. Like I said, it is the Aigo Shadow Max CPU air cooler. It is going today for about $36 here on Newegg, which ain't too bad for a 5-pipe tire style cooler. As you can tell by looking at it here, it's actually showing a picture of it sitting on an Intel system here. It is round. Most generally, your tire style coolers look something like some of these. You know, you get looks like a radiator with a few pipes coming down out of them with a 120 fan pushing air through, most generally. But this one I think this one looks a lot better. I think because of the design, the way they designed this one, I think it looks a lot better. It does have adjustable RGB lights on it for you, for the ones that have to have the RGB lights on it. And you can see the bottom there, it does have 5 heat pipes on the bottom of it. And there's a picture of what the fan looks like on the inside of it. If you're interested in what that fan looks like, I will be taking this thing apart once they get it out of the box and showing you that fan. But that's kind of why I decided to pick this up and kind of do an unboxing on this thing. I think it's kind of cool looking. It's kind of neat looking. What CPUs does this fit? It does fit Intel and AMD. The Intel down here is the 775, 1155, 1156, 115X-2011. So if you're looking at a newer Intel processor that has the 1200 LGA socket to it, I'm sorry, but apparently this won't fit that. Down here on AMD, it does fit AMD 4, FM2, FM1, AM3 plus, AM3, AM2 plus, AM2. So with AMD, you have a little bit bigger selection of processors they'll actually work with. Get down here to the specs over here. It is branded by Aigo. It is a fan and heat sink. It says the fan size is 100 millimeters. It is a long life bearing fan. The RPMs go from 3,000 to 3,499 RPMs. The airflow is 50 to 55 CFMs. The noise level is 25 to 30 dBA. Power connector, it does have a 3-pin connector for the ARGB, and it has a 4-pin connector for the fan itself. It does have LEDs, it is adjustable RGBs. The heatsink materials is aluminum and copper. The max height of it is 142 millimeters, and it weighs more than 450 grams. It was first available on January the 28th of 2021. So kind of looking at that, you know, like I described, you know, it is a 5 heat pipe tire style cooler. I think it's kind of a cool looking little tire. Kind of brought my attention to this thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the box here. I'm gonna show you taking it out of the box. I'm gonna take it apart and actually show you the fan inside of it and whatnot. And then I'll be back with my conclusion to the video. Alright guys, we went down through the specs of this. I kind of told you what it actually was here. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the box. Like I said, it is the Aigo, I guess the way you pronounce that, AIGO, Shadow Max CPU cooler. I'm going to take it out of the box, see what all comes with it here. Open up the flap on top. Get a little user's guide. Installation guide, I guess. Installation guide here, which will probably come in pretty handy with, depending on if you're putting it on AM4 or AM3 or putting it on Intel or whatever. You probably want to keep a hold of that. Okay, then you got some silicone gel. Make sure you don't eat that. Alright, then we got the cooler itself here that's in some styrofoam. Okay, there's one styrofoam that was wrapped around it with nothing else. Another piece of styrofoam that was wrapped around the other side with nothing else. What else do we got in here? We'll set that to the side right now. We'll look at the cooler here in a second itself. You got a nice big white box here. I'm gonna assume that this is the accessories. Yep, that's the accessory box for it. Anything else in here? I think just a little piece of styrofoam for protection on the bottom. Other than that, the box is empty. Okay. We'll go ahead and start out with the accessory box here. See what all comes with it. Alright guys, inside the accessory box here, you do have your LED wire that runs your LED or your volt RGB header on your motherboard. This here little bag says Intel, so that must be for if you're going to be putting it on an Intel system. Looks like the side brackets of it. This one here says 2011. I'm assuming meaning for Intel 2011 sockets. That's the side brackets for them as well. Okay, and here's your brackets if you're going to be connecting it to an AMD system. It says AMD. So apparently you're going to screw these to the bottom of the cooler, then you're going to screw them to the back plate. Alright, and then here, it looks like you got a back plate. You may have to actually use the back plate that comes with it instead of the back plate that's on the AM4 motherboard, it looks like. Looks like there's the back plate that goes on the back of your motherboard to connect the CPU cooler to. A little bit of thermal compound here, a little bit of thermal grease. Apparently the cooler don't come with thermal grease included on it. And of course you have 4 yellow plastic pieces for Intel, you have 4 black plastic pieces for AMD. So yeah, you do have 4 little standoffs there that's threaded on the inside. Then you got the 4 little screws there, but it don't look like the screws goes into them. But we'll get into that whenever we get into how to install this thing. Alright guys, and here's the cooler itself. We'll start out here at the bottom. Like I said, when I was going through the specs of this thing, it is a 5 heat pipe design. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all nice and black. Got a little piece of plastic there covering up the bottom. So you're going to end up putting your thermal paste, or you're going to set that down on top of your thermal paste. Right there's your Pmw Fan Header. Right there looks like your little cable to run your RGBs from your motherboard to the cooler. That will light up the head of it here. And like I said, it does look a little bit different than most of your stock stand-up heat coolers with 5 heat pipes or 4, 5, 6 heat pipes. It does look a little bit different, so I kind of want to take a look at it here today. It's got a pretty nice little design on top with the logo on top of it. Take that top off of it, there ain't really a whole lot there. You just kind of see the LEDs go around the ring of it there that gives you your lighting. Other than that, there really ain't a whole lot in there to look at. Alright guys, now take the 4 bolts, the 4 screws out of it. It's right underneath the cap that can be removed with the Aigo logo on it. Take the 4 screws out. Looks like they go right down through the fins here in between the pipes. And we can get a closer look at the fan here. And if I was you guys, I wouldn't recommend doing this. You know, I am a professional after all. I hope you don't believe that. But anyways, I looked at that fan. I don't know exactly what size of fan that is. And with the way the fan blades is on it, the way they're curved, I do believe it's going to do a pretty good job about pushing that heat out through them fins. Alright guys, for a little bit of a comparison here. This here is the old Hyper Evo 212. Don't mind the dust, they lay back there on the shelf. Okay, that's a 4 heat pipe design. And right there beside that one is the Hyper T4. It's also a 4 heat pipe design. And this is pretty well what your standard heat sinks with heat pipes like this actually look like. You know, you can't get Deep Cool branded. Fantex makes them. There's several different companies. But generally, most of them look like this one. That's what kind of turned me on to this one, and why I wanted to check this one out is because it is round. You can tell it really don't look much like the other ones, but it's got 5 copper heat pipes on it. The only thing that's questionable to me on it is that small fan in the middle. That definitely ain't even close to a 120 fan. Be lucky if it's a 92mm fan or 75mm fan, because it does sit down in there like set down inside that like I showed you. Kind of makes me wonder on how good this thing's going to be to get the heat out of it. But let me get reset up here, guys, and I'll come up with a conclusion for the video for this unboxing and overview of this thing. Alright, all. We went down through the specs of this cell cooler, and I took it apart for you, took it out of the box, showed you what all comes with it. I didn't get to install it yet. I haven't got to do any temperature testing or anything like that, but that will be coming up on follow-up video here in the next couple weeks or so. If you like this kind of content, make sure you go down and give me a like. If not, there's that dislike button or that comment section below. I'll go through them every weekend on my live stream here 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturday mornings. And if you really like this kind of content, maybe hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. And also, if you're interested, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. I don't kill your inbox, but I do put up photos and new stuff I have coming in to give you an idea of what's coming up on the channel. Or if there's any news about my live stream, I got canceled or changed the time, that's where you also get that information. With all that being said, you all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.